Este video está completamente subtitulado, así que suscríbete al canal y comenta desde dónde estás viendo este video. El Real Madrid remontó al Atlético con un 3-2 en el Bernabéu con un partidazo de Vinicius Jr. En este video vamos a ver la reacción de la prensa inglesa, totalmente impresionada con el Real Madrid y Vinicius. Quédate hasta el final.
So it finishes Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2. So just to confirm that what that means, as you were at the top of the table, 4 points separating Barca and Real Madrid. For more on this, let's welcome in Joey Luis Garcia at the Santiago Bernabeu. Luis, in the end, a thoroughly entertaining game.
Yeah, very entertaining. I think that we've seen even the two halves were actually exciting because we've seen goals in both halves. I think that the second one, it was even more to see Real Madrid making that reaction from the very beginning. We were expecting changes, but they arrived later on because Real Madrid already made the comeback with a 2-1 win. These kind of games are always really defined by the small details and the small mistakes, and today I think that the Atlético Madrid made the most. Even though the chances were in both sides, that both teams had options to win the game, I think that Real Madrid managed better the tempo of the game. The second half, it was all about making the comeback, even when they needed to make another reaction after the Molina's goal that get us all by surprise. They managed to get the third one to win the game. After Valverde sent off, Real Madrid showed what we've seen, a lot better team and solid at the back, more compact and more balanced, something that I think that Arbeloa has been working very much in the last month and a half. And yeah, exciting for both sides, and Real Madrid needed to do this, needed to win the 3 points, and they made it. A pity for Atlético Madrid that have their options, but in the end it was Real Madrid with those 3 points getting closer to Barcelona once again.
Different team second half, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, a different team, but aided and abetted by an Atleti side who came out after half-time and gifted 2 opportunities. The Hanko challenge was needless, so that's the first one. Vinicius scores the penalty. And then there's a really bad back pass into Fede Valverde, who takes advantage of it. You're still going to take advantage of it. He did. But Stevie mentioned he got the lock. The Jimenez challenge is weak in the box. Now, I know it's a tricky situation when players running at you. You don't want to give a penalty away. But it's not a particularly strong challenge, and again, Fede Valverde takes advantage of it. So, from a good position, all of a sudden, a couple of mistakes, you're 2-1 down. Now you're chasing your tail. Yeah, you get back in the game with a great goal from Molina. But again, you don't shut down the key men in key areas, which they didn't. So they've made 3 mistakes at the back, Atleti, and got punished for it.
You could just feel it, and I'm sure you could at the stadium. The fact that everyone just kind of went, uh-oh. You know, this is trouble now because we have to win this tie. But the response and the character that we saw from Real Madrid, obviously Vinicius Jr. scoring so soon after that, has given, I'm sure, them more hope when it looks at the title race as a whole.
Yeah, exactly, because the atmosphere went down. You could see that it was very quiet when Molina scored that second one. And I thought that at that stage, both teams kind of look at each other and say, okay, let's give it a rest to this breakdown on going in transition from one side to the other side. So let's reorganize all together. But it was Atlético Madrid making that mistake, and I totally agree with Craig. If you start giving 1, 2 options, 3 options, maybe another team, okay, you can get away with it. But against Real Madrid, you know that you have to be 100% no mistakes and waiting for Real Madrid to don't have the day. You have the option of going ahead. You have the option to equalize the game. So you make sure at the Bernabeu that you don't leave spaces, that you don't leave probably the most important player on the field, that is Vinicius Jr. in transition or Valverde. Without no mark, without space to run, and against a player who is not used to defend, that he was Alex Baena in that second half. So too many mistakes, too many options to Real Madrid that, of course, when they play at the Bernabeu, they're going to take them. And it was that third goal who actually, when we saw it, is like, this is, even with the Valverde going out, you could see that Real Madrid was ready to keep those 3 points, whatever it was needed. And the reaction with Arbeloa, bringing on Carreras on the left side, putting Fran Garcia on the left side too, to try to keep it tight and together. So in the end, I think that the Real Madrid did what they have to do. They managed to come back in a very difficult situation right after the second half, when you might expect Atletico Madrid to be very compact and difficult to break down, because that's what Simeone does the best. But in the end, too many options for them, and they took them very well.
It's all about momentum now for Real Madrid. That's 5 on the bounce.
Yep.
A big derby against their local rivals. Two games against Man City that they were not favourites to win, but again, City gifted Real Madrid opportunities and they took them. So they're taking everything that's been laid on a plate for them at the moment, and fair play to them for that. And I just feel they've got that little bit of consistency and energy about their side now. So they're definitely in a better place than they were, 4 or 5 weeks ago.
I think it's simple and straightforward that we say that Atletico Madrid made mistakes and they pounced on them. But at the end of the day, Real Madrid put them under pressure and forced the mistakes, and I think that's key. This is a team that we've been talking about that seem to have lacked energy. Well, in the opposition half of the field, you've got to use your legs and you've got to use your desire to put pressure on the opposition. That's exactly what they did today, and they got the break with that, but some great finishing. If you look at that replay, the referee doesn't actually see anything until the very end. And if the referee had actually seen the challenge, he would have seen what Valverde was trying to do. Right. He's trying to hook his leg round to get the ball. And in trying to get the ball, he's caught him 100%. And if you want to give a yellow, that's fine. But it's not a red card. And he's given the red because all he's seen is the contact that looks, half a yard away from the ball. That's why he's given a red.
Yeah, he's deemed it as there's been no attempt whatsoever to play the ball, when I think there was.
Right? Yeah,
but
he's seen it, but he didn't see it.
Pretty clumsy effort to try and do it. I don't think it was one of those challenges where we see it quite often, where a player makes absolutely zero attempt to play the ball. Most of the time it's just tripping an opponent up. Yeah. What we do know is there'll be an appeal.
Oh, I think there will be.
I think that's the only thing that we can actually hang our hat on in this one, is that Real Madrid will appeal that, and if it doesn't get overturned, we'll probably have another story to talk about for another week.
Luis, did you want to add something?
Yeah, it's because you might don't remember, but there is a pass between these two players, and it's not that I feel that the referee was affected by that, but if you know that pass on the field sometimes to the players, it can come. Valverde had some issues with Alex pass, and that might affect in the way that he was to that challenge on the field.
Baka and Ian join us now. Ian, title race still very much on.
Yeah, very much on. I think it's the result that the title race needed. Of course, Atletico are out of that, but you can see what a useful team they are. They just imploded a little for half an hour at the start of the second half there. But Real Madrid are in a kind of getting into that groove where they're getting the results they need, aren't they?
Yeah, and I thought they finished the game off with a really strong 11, and they've got bodies back on the bench which will help them out. So going forward, if they stay fit and have a untroubled international break, by the time they meet Bayern Munich, they may be in a stronger position than we've seen them in recent weeks.
Not many people fancy them.
Not many people fancied them against Manchester City. I certainly didn't. I fancied Manchester City after the form Real Madrid were in against Getafe, Celta Vigo, etc., Osasuna. But they're going to need that type of performance against Bayern Munich. Bayern Munich are free scoring, of course, but they still are a little bit debatable, a little bit fragile at the back. So we'll wait and see. But I thought they did what they needed to do today. They hung on, they got the 3 points. And as you clearly said, Dan, that means La Liga and the title race is still going, which we all want to see, don't we, for as long as physically possible.
Yeah, there's a quarter of the season to go. Yeah. Still 9 games still to go, Dan.
Yeah, certainly. As Maka, you mentioned, of course, the big boys coming back. Is there any sense that could be a double-edged sword, considering this is the best we've seen from Real Madrid, this run over from Arbeloa, knocking out Manchester City, now beating Atletico Madrid, without the likes of Mbappe or indeed Jude Bellingham?
No, I thought they were papering over the cracks, to be honest. Bringing some of the youngsters in has worked. I don't think you could use them now till the end of the season. So having Camavinga, having Bellingham, having Alaba, having Carreras, having Mbappe on the bench today, I think really helps them, because they're going to be called upon once it starts getting into the business end of the season. Don't get me wrong, Brahim Diaz, Arda Güler, Thiago Pittar, in that middle of the park have excelled absolutely. But when you need experience, when you get to the latter stages of the Champions League, when you get round to playing Barcelona in the new camp, I think you need everybody available. You know, if anything, in an ideal world, you'd have everybody back. The defenders back. You'd have Militao back, etc., etc. But we know that you're going to have to carry a few injuries. I just thought that finished 11. Well, actually, the finished 10 and plus Fede Valverde, I think, just bolsters their squad up at a really important part of the season now, from April, after this international break, to the end of the season. The next game at the Bernabeu behind us is Bayern Munich. They're going to need everybody fit and well and raring to go, because Bayern, as we all know, they're in great form.
We will know, won't we, Ian, I suppose at the end of the season, how big a goal that Vinicius Junior's third was. But I tell you what, the timing of it was perfect, because I imagine we could hear it here, that the atmosphere at the Bernabeu just must have been so deflated once Molina scored.
Yeah, I mean, the place was absolutely rocking the way Real Madrid stormed back into the game in the second half. I mean, the Molina goal came right out of the blue and was almost a carbon copy of the one he scored last week from 25 yards.
What did Craig and Stevie think about the red card?
No chance.
No.
Not even. No.
Even Luis Garcia said no.
Yeah,
so there you go. So I believe that, the referee got that wrong.
That's good.
There we go. All right, Mac, would you like to discuss anything else in great detail, or would you like to go to a tapas bar?
Stay with us.
How's your health, mate? Are you well?
I'm doing very well, Mac. Thank you very much.
Well,
so it all started in October the 14th. That's when I got the call. And then obviously a little bit of nerves, excitement. You kind of thought, there we go. Mac, thank you very much, boys. As always, much appreciated. Great call today. Go and enjoy the rest of Sunday night in Madrid. Just a reminder then, as Ian mentioned, a huge game. Barcelona against Real Madrid in our Clasico, May the 10th. 3 p.m. Eastern, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It could go a long way to deciding who will be crowned champions of Spain.
Lo que hizo el Real Madrid en este partido fue impresionante. No solo por la remontada, sino por la forma en la que lo hizo. Y eso no pasó desapercibido para la prensa inglesa, que ha elogiado tanto al equipo como a Vinicius Junior. Muchos medios destacan la personalidad del Madrid, su capacidad de reaccionar en momentos difíciles y su mentalidad ganadora, porque este equipo nunca se rinde, y cuando parece que todo está en contra, aparece alguien como Vinicius Junior para cambiar el partido. 2 goles, desequilibrio constante y una actuación que marca la diferencia. Para muchos fue el mejor jugador del partido, y no es casualidad. Vinicius se está convirtiendo en uno de los jugadores más determinantes de Europa, y el Real Madrid, una vez más, demuestra que en los partidos grandes siempre aparece. Además, esta victoria es clave en la lucha por la liga. El Madrid sigue segundo con 69 puntos, a solo 4 del Barcelona, lo que deja la pelea por el título completamente abierta. Si siguen jugando así, tienen todo para pelear hasta el final. Ahora quiero saber tu opinión. ¿Es Vinicius Junior el jugador más decisivo del Real Madrid en este momento? Déjalo en los comentarios. Y si te gustó el video, no olvides suscribirte, dejar tu like y activar la campanita para no perderte nada. Gracias por ver el video y nos vemos en el próximo.